Hey Jim, the algorithm brought you here for a reason, so stick around. We've been here for 10 years and our videos are only going to get better. But we'll see you over at the shop.
Jeez, traffic is bad for a Tuesday.
Alright guys, I'm going to make this quick because it's freaking pouring rain, but the way over here this thing started running like shit. And for some reason, that spark plug wire keeps freaking hopping off. Alright, so we're over at the shop right now. The YouTube channel did not blow up yet. It will soon, but for right now we still have to work. So we got some customers' vehicles we got to get done. And then this evening, Justin's going to come over and help us film. We're going to pull in Brandy's E46. We have to do a Vanos rebuild on it, and we also got to get the brakes working in the back, the e-brake. So I'm not sure if we're going to split that up or try and do both, but you guys will find out. We'll see you. For you guys, we'll be right back in a second. We got all the work done at the shop today. We're ready to work on our own stuff now. I pulled this in and popped that plug wire back on so we can take that home tonight. The E46, which is Brandy's car, we're going to be doing the rear brakes on. When we did the subframe reinforcement, which we should have did a video on, but we did not, I wasn't dealing with the e-brake cables and I just cut them. So we're going to put new e-brake cables and we're going to replace the e-brake shoes and hardware. And while we're in there, we're just going to put new rotors and pads on the rear. So the whole rear end will be good to go for drifting. Our goal is to get all three of our cars up to South Mountain Raceway on the 7th for their next drift event. We got a long way to go to make that happen, but we got to start somewhere. So we're going to do the brakes. I might get into the Vanos rebuild tonight. I think we're going to do the brakes as this video and the Vanos rebuild as another video. So this is your e-brake shoe, rear brake, e-brake cable tutorial for a E46 BMW. Are we missing a spacer on the other side, or did it just stay stuck to the hub? Oh, this is how I deal with these things. I like to just push those slides out with the flathead and you just get in front of the threads here. And then you can actually compress the caliper. This thing doesn't even need brakes. These are 16 millimeter. Next, to get the rotor off, we got to take out this little bolt here. They usually like to round out or strip or just break. Impact driver, this tool you kind of hold and twist, and while you're twisting you hit it with a hammer and it just tends to get stuff out without breaking it. Another good tip is to just heat up the bolt a little bit. And we got lucky. This is probably all we really needed, is just the shoes. All this rust in here is what I was worried about putting new shoes. Sometimes they don't fit good if you have a rust lip in there. So good idea if you haven't done a whole lot of these. Just take a picture of how all the springs and the shoes go before you start ripping it apart. I know for me it's always like, I'll just rip it apart and figure out how it goes together, but it's a lot easier if you just take a picture, then you know. Sometimes you can cheat and look at the other side if you're just doing one side at a time. But with the parking brake shoes or like drum brakes, sometimes it's reversed on the other side, so it's probably just best to take a picture of it. But we're gonna get these springs off of here. This hold down spring is what holds the shoe onto the backing plate. And then once we have the shoes off, our, I don't know what the technical term is for it. I just call it like a spreader. This is what the cable pulls. And when the cable pulls this way, it spreads this apart and spreads the shoes out. So once we get that out, we'll get the new cables in, and then we can start putting the new shoes in. So these are the two most common tools I use for drum brakes. Neither one of them are drum brake tools. So you just gotta get that hook out of the hole on that guy, and then there's one on this side too. Don't blink. For these hold down springs, oh, there goes my star wheel adjuster. If you look here, these are just slotted, so they just, you can see it a little bit better without the shoe in there. They just go in like that and then turn. And with the shoe in there, that spring pressure holds them in place. So they're pretty simple. So just push and turn. They never go together that easy. And then that's our spreader. So the shoe sits in here and in here. And when the e-brake cable's pulled, this is what spreads the shoes out. You can see kind of how that works there. And here's our e-brake cable, or what's left of it.
There it goes.
Yeah, I guess just knock them out with a punch. Hit it like you want to go play replay. Hammer.
We can just skip all.
When it comes to anything inside the car with interior stuff, it's always best to watch somebody else break it on YouTube so you don't break it when you're taking it apart.
See, Zach's worked on a bunch of BMWs, so he knows what he's doing. Underneath in here? Yeah. Pull that. Now something that. There.
One bolt.
That
Looks like a
it's crooked.
13. If you missed that, there was a plastic bin in here, 2 Phillips screws. You take the Phillips screws out, you pull that bin out, and then that gives you access to that 13.
At least Justin can make it look like we know what we're doing. Heave-ho!
They had that console out in 2 seconds. Oh gosh.
That's fine.
Oh.
I'll find this.
Well, you can tell I'm not used to being around the car on a lift.
So you just got one plug here, it goes in like that. Just a little wiggle and she'll pull out of there. And this guy's free. So the threaded end, you're going to stick through these tubes here. If your cable ever gets stuck, just grab the other end and start rotating it while you kind of pull it. I missed the guide here. Right by the subframe, there's a guide the cable's got to go through.
Oh shit.
Mine don't even go. Oh,
that wasn't too bad. Your side went a lot easier actually, even with that thing stuck in there.
Yep.
And then it's actually going to be easier to get our spreader thing hooked up with the cable loose. So before we make them tight up in the car, we'll get the, actually let's make sure they're ran up through the e-brake, but we won't tighten them down. Is that all the way through?
Yeah, what do I do? That doesn't.
Since your new e-brake cables won't come with nuts, it's a M6 by 1.0 thread pitch.
Keep it coming. Alright. That's about the same. Ish.
Yeah, we can't put the lift up on this side. The lift is operated from this side. The spreader guy, she's pretty stuck. That's not gonna work too well. So we didn't get a new one. We're gonna have to clean this one up. Actually, it looks like this one will come apart too. Cool. Nice job, BMW. I'm just getting this one apart. Gonna do the same thing. Gonna sand this and wire wheel this. Lube it up. This ain't your mama's Sil Glide. Oh. Okay. Thanks, Napa. Napa know-how. Not a sponsor. Okay, that's how that goes. Hopefully Justin was recording.
I was. I may not have had the super bestest angle.
So, see the hook? You're just gonna hook the cable, basically. And it goes like that. Basically, you just open that thing up, slide the cable in, close it, and stick her in there.
I'm sure it'll come out. All right.
But it is what it is. Nobody cares.
That's fine.
Too much.
What are you doing?
Nothing, just wait a second.
Get out of here.
Shout out to the Jims and Franks.
And if you guys think you're not Jim or Frank, just know that you can become one. For $1 to be a Frank or $5 to be a Jim. We'll give you a shout out in the credits.
You get a shout out right now.
The reason I decided to do this is because I really hate mid-roll ads, and YouTube keeps prompting me to add mid-roll ads to my videos, and I don't want to do that, so I figured I'd offer memberships, and maybe that'll help make up for some of the ad revenue. These are your hold down springs and your hold downs. And then these are your return springs. And oh, new star wheel adjuster? Nice. Sometimes you don't get those.
They don't give you much pad.
I think, yeah, the fat side goes towards your adjuster.
So this one goes this way.
Yeah. Oh, Brandy actually took a picture? I don't know which side to be on. Before you put the shoes on, all these spots, we sanded down the high spots where the shoe sits. You're going to want to lubricate those pretty good. You don't have to get excessive with it because you don't want that getting on the brake shoes. I also lubricate this spreader where the shoe sits on both sides. That just helps where we're from because of all the rust and moisture and stuff. If you don't do that, the stuff gets stuck and it makes noise or it doesn't work right. So maybe if it's dry where you're from, Texas or whatever, you don't have to use lube, but here in the Northeast we use lube. Oh, that's nice. I like that design. Okay, that guy's in. Alright, we're gonna let gravity hold that for us. We're gonna come down here. You will not get that the first time if this is your first time doing these. They will fight you and you will swear and you will not want to do drum brakes again. But after lots of cussing and doing lots of drum brakes, they're not that bad.
Good job. Oh, we got over here to the good part for Zach.
Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm just adjusting this star wheel. This spreads the shoes out, and we just want a light drag on the rotor. Just helps keep it from sticking. I never put those in real tight because they're usually break off. So. Our bracket's going on. Got a little bit of Loctite on the bracket bolt. Justin's going to tell you the torque spec later, and we'll go back and torque everything. But I mean, if you guys made it this far, the hard part's done. Like, this is just brakes now. I like the squeeze style of caliper compressor. The reason I like this, the windy ones will always push the caliper back if you push them hard enough. But these ones you can really feel if the caliper's binding up or the piston's binding up at all. So I just prefer this style. I'm just gonna go wire wheel these, and then we'll put some grease in here before we put them back in. Oh, I'm blinded. Sorry. Our new pad here. Usually try and grease up all the contact points where the pad sits in here. You can grease the bracket too, but a lot of times the grease will get washed out of the bracket. I usually put a little bit of grease on the back of the pad where the caliper rests against it. And for this style of slide pin, you always want to start these by hand. If you want to run them in with a air or electric ratchet, that's fine, but get them started by hand first because they will cross thread. If you're running them in with the electric or the air, you won't feel it until it's too late. Then you have this guy, everybody's favorite. You just get the edges on the bracket here, and then you just push her in. They're really not that bad. I would also usually put a little bit of lubricant or anti-seize on the rotor pat here, and you'd want to clean up any corrosion off the inside of the wheel or spacer before you put that back on. And then we're missing the caps, but there's little black plastic caps that cover up the slide pins here. If you have them, make sure you put them back in there because that keeps all the grease in there. Otherwise the grease gets washed out and the slide pins get dry. So remember to put those back in if you have them.
Stuck. Okay, fine. Zach doesn't like this one because you can't tell if it's compressing hard or not. But this one seems to be going alright. I just blew it completely. I don't even know what I'm... Okay. Look at that.
I'm gonna snug them up and then I'm gonna pull the e-brake a few times because these cables are gonna stretch. Let's see if she works. Brandy, in the car. All right, pull the e-brake, Brandy. Oh yeah, she's a grabber. Go ahead. Oh yeah. All right, so in the next video, you guys will see us most likely do the Vanos rebuild on this. Once we have the Vanos rebuild done, we would like to do a clutch because the clutch in this thing's about shot, but I don't know if we're gonna have time to do that before the June 7th event at South Mountain. We might just send it with this clutch, and if we completely blow it out, we were gonna do the clutch anyway. The other thing we wanted to do is, I'm pretty sure the one cat's clogged on this, and since we're gonna be running it off-road on the track as a drift car, we're probably gonna do headers on it when we do the clutch. Is there anything else we gotta get done, Brandy? The ball joint on the driver's side control arm has a little bit of play in it, but we don't want to replace that. We just want to get an angle kit when we do that. So yeah, in the future, it's probably going to be after the South Mountain first event, but there will be some videos on a clutch install, headers, an angle kit. I'm not sure what angle kit we're going to get for this thing yet. We do got to clean it out. We got to get a fire extinguisher, and we got to get helmets. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you guys in the next video.